What's up, everybody? Eric here. It's February 28th, last day of the month, and we are in a very interesting situation, time period in life and in the markets. And so I'm coming on here today before I head to the BMO Metals and Mining Conference in Hollywood, Florida today for a bit for some meetings. I wanted to highlight a few things that are just really standing out to me. I'm sorry I didn't get on here yesterday because a lot of you guys, any of you who would have listened, would have made already 10% on your money. And that would have been from my feature of McEwen Mining. So McEwen Mining, as you know, is one of my biggest positions. MUX is the symbol. It trades on the New York Stock Exchange and the Toronto Stock Exchange. I'm going to keep this video as brief as possible. So that some of you that are bigger money, hopefully professionals, get your head out of your asses and look at this opportunity right now. There's nothing better you could be doing with your time than listening to me if you like alpha. Okay. So look, here's the bottom line. Let's share our screen. And I'm tongue-in-cheek joking, but part of me yesterday, I was like, are people just completely like out to lunch, or what is going on here? So let's look at this. News from yesterday out of McEwen Copper, which is a subsidiary of McEwen Mining, okay? Subsidiary of McEwen Mining, and why don't we do this? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna get this ready so I know the fundamentals as well on McEwen Mining, which we did have a pop yesterday, and I was just sitting there. I was buying the heck out of any cash that I had, moving money over from the bank, adding to my options positions. I'm going to talk in US dollars today, not Canadian dollars. That's McEwen Mining and MUX on the New York Stock Exchange, trading at 640 per share currently. So as of the close yesterday, which was up, markedly. It had a rough morning. It didn't do much. And then finally, I think Rob is at BMO talking to some institutions, and like, hopefully I hear today that you just kind of backslapped some of these guys in the head. Said, what are you doing? This is like free money. Look at this. You've got, so we closed yesterday at $296 million market capitalization for McEwen Mining. Remember that. That's important. Now you go to two news announcements yesterday. We had two news announcements. First, one of which was that McEwen Copper, so this is the division of McEwen Mining that is going to be spun out into its own public company entity. Sometime it sounds like in Q2, around summertime, whatever. I invested in this company directly. I believe it was a bit over a year ago, something like that. Not too sure exactly when it was, but very glad that I did, and very glad Rob took the tack of spinning this copper asset out, because if you look at it one way or the other, at a $295 million market capitalization, either you're getting absolutely zero value for the 9th largest copper deposit on planet Earth, that Rio Tinto not only put 25 million bucks in at $10 before that round was closed. We didn't even get a warrant, by the way. It was a $250,000 minimum investment. So primarily institutional investors. Rio comes in, the last ticket above 80 million. By the way, Rob McEwen, this is why I really respect Rob, and I like him as a person too, but he ran into some tough times on the operational side for a couple of years, and people seem to forget, who is a winner in business and who is not a winner in business. Winners bounce back. Losers, maybe they get lucky, but they're always going to go back to losing, typically speaking. Now, Rob McEwen said, we're gonna fund McEwen Copper for $80 million, and I'm gonna put up the first 40. he had a fairly rough time. I think it was fairly difficult over a long period of time to get up to like 12 to 15 more that he raised before Rio Tinto came in and said, we'll take 25. It took it up to like 82 million, in which I had to sign off. We had to sign off as shareholders to take the extra money. Of course, we're going to take it from Rio. Their division called Newton, it's Rio Tinto. It's a 100% owned venture by Rio Tinto. I believe they're the largest miner in the world, if not number one or number two. So they came in and did the 25 million plus an earn-in of 20 million into their Elder Creek project, McEwen Copper, that is, in Nevada, which I'm familiar with because of funding and owning a large percentage of a company, Timberline Resources, that had the option on that and then lost it. But it's an exciting, massive potential copper project. So McEwen Copper will hold Los Azules. It's in San Juan, Argentina, the 9th largest copper deposit, undeveloped, unmined so far. Deposit on planet Earth that was getting like sub 15 percentile valuation in terms of ounces in the ground. No brainer to me. And so then Newton also did an earn-in on Elder Creek. They've got to spend $20 million to get a majority position in the Elder Creek project. And that was telling as well. So good for Rob. I told him when I saw him last time, really good job. I mean, frankly, in a rough market, when you're bringing in the biggest players that are in the business that will potentially be the ones that will buy you out. So not only that, then on Monday, he announces that Newton's coming in with another 30 million. And not only is he doing this in a way that is going to be, there's 350,000 McEwen Copper common shares, which now are priced at, instead of $10, $18.50. I'm up 85% on my money in the last year. How you doing? How you doing? This is what I've been saying about McEwen Mining and McEwen Copper. Rob McEwen is an operator with his name on the door, and I just bet on the fact that I don't think he's going out like a punk. With that being the case, he's healthy. He seems very dialed in for what is going on, and he's a deal maker, and we see that here. And I'm very excited about this stock, and you will regret it. I've been talking. I was early on this thing, okay, no question. Went all the way down to 3 and change last October. I called the bottom. I even texted Rob and said, you may want to buy some more of your own stock because, from the outside looking in, you just bottomed. That was in the middle to end of October, which was the case. The stock then goes to I believe it was, where did we touch? Let's take a look at that chart real quick. We went to 750. See it right here. 750, then this sort of fierce pullback in the mining sector recently. And then you get this news. We jump up yesterday to the 50-day moving average. We're above that right now, and the stock is about to explode. Just so you know, my target would be somewhere right, straight, keep it simple, nice little straight trend line. We're probably looking at $10, $9 to $10 on McEwen, which is a 40 to 50% return from here. And I'm talking like by May or April, okay? We've got BMO today. There's the PDAC, the largest conference for mining companies in the world in Toronto, starts on Sunday, which I'm looking to get to. So if you hear this and you're going to be there, let me know. If you're at BMO, I'm going there today. I'll have a little extra time in the afternoon. Shoot me a message or a text, or shoot Renee, R-E-N-E, at phenom.ventures a text, and he can track me down. Same with Erica, E-R-I-K-A, if you're used to working with her at phenom.ventures. So now we've got a situation. Let me just go back to this. I'm going to wrap this up quick, guys. Stay tuned, because you've got a situation now where 23 million of this money is going to McEwen Mining. So he's shoring up his own balance sheet at McEwen Mining. And there's just 80 million put in, there's a lot that's been spent, but McEwen Copper's fine. They're cashed up 23 million in a secondary sale from McEwen Mining, but they still own right here. Look right here where I'm circling around with the browser. 51.9% of what McEwen Mining owns post-dilution. And the transaction with Rio valued it at 550 million. So 2.25, 230, 235 is the value that we just had put on by Rio Tinto in Los Azules. And that means that with 296, you got a $60 million valuation on a 170,000 ounce producing gold company, which has their operations turned around and a projected all-in sustaining cost this year of $1,500. Not only that, so this is a great deal. I was happy to see. But what did he announce right before that? Yesterday morning. This is even more important for all of us to understand, guys. I've been saying this for months. They're all coming. What do I mean by that? I mean that all of the vehicle manufacturers, the electric vehicle manufacturers, the battery manufacturers, the washing machine manufacturers, the dryers, the refrigerators, the frickin' crane manufacturers, I don't care who it is, they're all coming. If they're of size and have need for supply chain hard assets in line after 2027, nickel, copper, lithium, cobalt, vanadium, wait till you see what's about to pop off there. We got a taste from Phenom Resources last week. Did you guys read that? Nobody seemed to buy any stock on it, but guess what? Those are real inquiries from real companies looking to secure production on the Carlin mine, which won't be for 5 to 7 years. Desperation mode is out there for these companies. It's coming up, it's percolating in the background, and it's going to turn into an explosion of FOMO. You know what that means? Fear of missing out. A lot of these companies are not going to be able to make their literal product, their end products, to sell to their customers in several years. They need to come to us, the mining investors, at various stages, not just anybody going into production. The vanadium battery manufacturers have told Paul Cowley, the CEO of Phenom Resources, that Largo, Bushveld, the producers that are out there won't even return their phone calls. Do you understand what this means? That's why, like Phenom Resources, people are worried about what it's doing, if it's going to 42 cents or 48 cents or 58 cents or 38 cents. I'm worried if it's going to $30, $40, $50. Seriously, because vanadium, that's another story. We'll save it for another time. But this is what I've been talking about. We saw it with Giga Metals, where they signed on last year, Mitsubishi, $8 million, 15% stake in the Turnagain project in Canada, in BC. That is a very far away from producing nickel mine. Okay, nickel, there's cobalt, there's platinum, there's palladium, there's a lot of different materials that are there, and it's massive. And so that they funded the pre-feasibility study at Giga Metals. The next company that wants a piece of that deal is going to pay out of their nose. And the ones after that, if they're going to buy the company, they're actually not. They're getting it. You could pay 10 times what Mitsubishi paid and still not be paying out of your nose. That's what they need to realize, because it is going to become a massive bidding war. And those that are moving early, like with Rob yesterday, we saw a deal with Stellantis, Argentinian peso, $30 billion investment. I think it comes out to, forgive me on the number, I'm not even going to speculate. It's a big investment. I just had it on my calculator. I'm not going to do it right now. Yeah, I should while I'm talking. Because you're looking at 20, I can do the math quick. It's 40, it's 70 some, 74, $77 million is what this investment is here. So it's over twice what Rio Tinto's putting in. Who's Stellantis? Just one of the biggest car manufacturers and automakers on planet Earth. They own everything from Alfa Romeo, Chrysler, Dodge, Fiat, Jeep, Maserati, Opel, Peugeot, Ram, Some of these other names that I'm just not familiar with, Vauxhall, Freedom Move, Nissan, Citroen, they're massive. I believe that they're number 3 or number 4 in the world in size in terms of auto manufacturers. So what do? They come in and they say, hey, we're doing what Mitsubishi did, but we're doing it with a copper mine that is far from production, but is massive and it is in our own country. So we can transact in Argentine pesos, we can get tax credits and benefits. And we're all moving towards one thing, clean energy. Vanadium, hello, the greatest clean battery metal on planet Earth, in my opinion. But in any event, what you've got here is, again, Stellantis is going to own 14.2% of McEwen Copper, and McEwen Mining owning 51.9% on a fully diluted basis. So you've got Rio Tinto, Stellantis, these are the companies that are owning McEwen Copper, not even McEwen Mining, the parent company. They don't have any of the gold. So guys, they're willing to pay, it's a $550 million valuation for McEwen Copper here. We've got a $235 million stake. The stock is up today. It's probably close to 270 million. That, you know, it's our value from third parties that are the biggest companies on planet Earth. And what's happening with Stellantis locking in the ability and Rio to get production out of this mine in the future is where you're going to see this happen every day. Right now, it's about once a month. It's going to be every single day somebody's locking in and calling Eric Mashinsky and the Gold Investment Letter and saying, hey, what do you got? I'm desperate for some copper and some nickel. By the way, my silver load after 2028 is gone. You got anything that we can fund and put into production or buy? This is the environment that's coming, but I'm just going over this and I'm just going to wrap this up. These are extraordinary transactions. And McEwen Mining, you've got a situation where the CEO and chairman, Rob McEwen, paid for all of his stock. He's put in $220-some million into McEwen Mining, right? He put in 40 into McEwen Copper. His cost average that I backed out last time is close to $20 a share US. The stock's sitting at 6 and change. And you guys are worried because of God knows what. I have been ruthless with finding emergency cash and putting it into things like Bitcoin at 16,500, McEwen Mining at 570 and 640, and it doesn't even make a difference. Phenom Resources at 45 cents Canadian was the last 2 days. I'm like, are people just retarded, asleep, or just filled with fear because you think that the Antichrist is coming and he's going to take everything down to zero? Or you've got Jerome Powell, that's out here, you know, and he's going to raise rates a half a point versus a quarter of a point, and everything's going to be screwed. Guess what, folks? Get some balls, and get some stock. This is a gift, guys. I'm not going to be pounding the table on McEwen Mining at 14, 15 bucks like this. I'm just not. I've been doing it. I'm sticking with this call, and it's going to be the same outcome of the other companies that I was early on, like Encore Energy, that I went to the CEO, and this is going back about 4 years, solicit the CEO to fund them at 5 cents or 6 cents Canadian with a warrant at 10 cents Canadian. Stock runs to 20 cents, uranium heats up, but it wasn't ready. 2 years, it drifts back down to 4 or 5 cents. Half of the people hate me, half of the people have patience, and they say, you know what, I'm sticking with it with you, which is what I did, and I accumulated more. Where's the stock today? $3. Cha-ching, cha-ching. That's what's going to happen here, guys. So I hope you get involved and don't let this noise. I'm back in the mix with GIL and with the phenoncrypto.com letters. I'm here, elite and premium members, you're about to see a barrage. I'm going to be knocking on your door and calling you with a barrage of private placements that I'm participating in this week. And they're exceptional. Get ready to deploy capital. Deploy capital. These themes that I have with nickel, the giga metal, you already know my biggest positions. It's incredible where that thing is trading. It's ridiculous. There's lots of other good nickel plays. Go buy something. McEwen Mining, which is number 2 now. It's still number 2, my number 2 position. And Phenom Resources, Vanadium, which is my killer app as an investment newsletter writer that's going to shock the world. And you're gonna, and those of you that have been with me and that look at this and do your diligence, you're going to do well. And if I didn't believe this, I would just be managing my own money at this point. I don't need to. I want you guys to participate. I might be talking smack and joking a little bit, but whatever. What's life but having a little fun too, okay? Don't take it personally. I love you guys, and that's going to be it for today. I'm going to publish this on YouTube. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Cheers.